Hey, how's it going, people? I go by Mr. Sleep for me, and I'm here today with my boy Terrence, and I'm here to give y'all some soulness. Y'all may not be used to this, but I gets deep. So this poem is called. This poem will be televised. Good morning to the masses who we caught skipping a bunch of classes. Insecurity got you seeking attention, so you decided to purchase a bunch of fake asses. Let's toast to your failures, bring out all the fancy wine glasses. You want me to write about heart stars, clovers, and blue moons, but all I see on television and social media is a bunch of fake free oops. I mean doom. Them flowers you bought your loved one are rotting will never bloom. You haven't found love for yourself and you wonder why you tripped when you decided to jump the broom. It's a bunch of malarkey. If you're not there for the boy, he becomes a son of anarchy. This motorcycle of success only fits one per seat. Ripping this highway to heaven, or was it hell? I'm convinced the younger generation only having babies for show and tell. Once reality hits them, they're looking for opportunities to sell to the highest bidders, slave trade vibes, foster care looking like a smoke session. Puff, puff, pass to the next. Smoke the ashes of the child till it becomes a roach to society. America's a box of crayons with variety. Let the land of the free be the canvas for the paintbrush for the poet to draw the truth. Hang that masterpiece in master's house. What's the confusion? This masterpiece in optical illusion. Vivid details of sanity by the seashore of lies. Black bodies get crucified on the cross while the black crow echoes the words of Edgar Allan Poe. Nevermore, nevermore. The rich laugh at the poor, but don't realize when the foundation crumbles under their feet, they end up lying on the same floor. When the king falls from his ranks, transitioning to a peasant, and it doesn't seem so pleasant, that rose from that concrete gets smothered like that gravy on your biscuit. So it never gets a chance to progress further in life. This is a public service announcement, but you only heard the beat. Protesting to the end because there's still people dying in the streets.
Black Out Loud Media Group. Welcome back to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast, the place where poetry meets conversation. I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that plus sign so you don't miss an episode. Also, please subscribe to my blog, thebrownssugarcafe.blog, and if you find any value in this episode or any other episodes, make sure you leave a heartfelt review. So with that being said, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sleep for me. Man, that poem is so packed and loaded. Where did you get the inspiration for that?
During COVID, man, there was a lot of injustice killings, man. There was a lot going on. So I had a lot of peers, a lot of poets that I met through, IG. They had their little social injustice poems. And I would try to challenge myself every week to outdo the poems that they wrote. So I would, when I work on this poem, it's very level. I was sitting with a group of poets on live or whatever, and we were just sitting there, giving each other ideas and all that. I got off the live and I went to work that day. Most of the time during COVID, I was an essential worker, had to go to work. There was no days off, you know what I'm saying? And basically, I'd be at work lifting up beer. And I'd have headphones in my head, listen to music and all that. And I would stop and I would hear the line. So, even the beginning of the poem, Good Morning to the Masses, it was on some Jay-Z's public service announcement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I'm listening to that. So, that's why I got the whole introduction voice, Good Morning to the Masses. So then from there, that came, and the whole time I'm moving beer boxes, all that. I'm getting all of that in my head, and I'm like, nah, there has to be more. I ain't want to stop, so I kept on. My technique was I kept on repeating these lines in my head while I was at work, and I would stop, take my phone out, write a couple lines, and I I'm gonna get back to this when I get home. Get home, and I just sit there in silence and I just write. And I would think of all these creative things that would just come into the poem that would be so relatable, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, and then sometimes some of the stuff I write would just blow my mind because I'd be like, yo, I really wrote this.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's called This Poem Will Be Televised, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like a spinoff of Jay-Z's public service announcement. That's why I got the whole idea and beauty of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, hey. I'm still trying to catch up.
Yeah, because it's so much in packet,
Yeah.
and you gotta like I know a lot of people sometimes would be like, "Can I just get this printed out so I can literally sit here and
I was thinking
nitpick
that same thing.
every line?" Oh, don't worry, man. I'll email you this so you can just sit there and just nitpick off of every line. You know, I think COVID really boosted the battery of my writing. I was always a writer, but I think when I was writing at those points, it was more of a depressing moment. You know, I
Yeah.
felt like I wrote better when I was sad and angry. This poem was more of like a battle cry. It was still anger because, you know, my people out here dying.
Yeah.
Justly,
Yeah.
you know. So, and some people would be like, oh, I just feel like you just write angry poetry. No, it's not angry poetry. This is passion from the heart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not,
Yeah.
you know, they're like, well, you come off as the angry black man poet. What?
I didn't feel that at all. Yeah.
Okay.
I just felt the passion, and I felt you telling the story, everybody's story, you know what I'm saying? Our stories that need to be heard. That's what I felt. I didn't feel any anger. Because during the pandemic, man, and like after George Floyd was murdered, I'll show you some angry poems.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I got a poem called Rewind. You know what I'm saying? And it's literally me. You know, I'll probably share that because that's the most impactful piece. But it's literally me putting you in the hands of a black kid getting shot.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm rewinding the whole scenario. And then I'm letting you know if this was you, this could have been your son. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
in the beginning, I'm already trapping you into the poem because you're thinking about the whole rewind, the whole beginning. The gun goes into the bullet goes back into the gun. The boy gets up, walks away, chats with the police officer, all that. You're still stuck on that. But you're hearing every other line, but it's messing with you mentally because you're like, yo, I can vision this. This is messing with me because this could be my child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 That because when I it was a poem that I wrote. It's called Familiar Fruit, and it's
Yeah,
in my new book. And
yeah,
what I did was I made like a modern day version of Strange Fruit.
yeah.
And it took me a while to do it. And
Those be the
you
best
know,
poems.
yeah, yeah.
Those be the best
Because
poems.
it was like it was so much heaviness on me,
Yeah,
and I needed to get it out. That was, how I could get it out. I
right.
prayed about it, and I just kept hearing right.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that and some other poems, and I was kind of reluctant to put it in my book because
Right,
I didn't want to go down this road of just sharing these types of poems and
right,
not giving any hope. I was
right.
in a conversation with another poet, and he had said something that I never really thought about before. He was like, when you write, certain poems and stuff, and some people call it trauma dumping or
Yeah,
whatever. But he was like, always write what you write and what you want to feel, what you
yeah,
feel, and get your writing out. He
yeah,
was like, but make sure you always leave some sort of hope in there.
yeah.
He was like, when you're bringing your listeners down or people, with you,
Right,
kind of find some way to pick them back up. And I was
right,
like, man, I never really thought about that before.
right,
So I was like, I guess I could put that poem in the book and then
right.
go on the journey of what I was trying to produce in
You know,
there.
and that
So
sometimes a lot of people need to hear those poems. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know, and I've seen people that'll just be like, "Who are you?" Like, I feel like you wrote this for me, but you don't know me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of a lot of the poems I write. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's for healing. It's never for trauma. It's for healing.
Right.
It's always to heal the
Right.
soul. You
Right.
know, and I've been blessed to be around nationally ranked slam poets. You know what I'm saying? I got, I have these guys' telephone numbers. I don't brag about that. But, you know what I'm saying? It's good for them to call me up to share poems, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To listen
Yeah.
to, you know what I'm saying? Women that have been part of WAPs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good to know, like, even though I never pushed it to like a super level, it's like, it's good to know that like people see my work and they respect it. So
Yeah.
they come to me for, you know what I'm saying, for the listening ear and the critique, you know what I'm saying? Because they kind of know I got eye. Even though I'm not a professional, like I'll never say I'm a professional at it, but I have an ear for it, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be like,
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat none of this. So I'm not gonna be like, yeah, man, that's not it for a poetry slam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I've been blessed to meet a lot of poems, a lot of poets. You know what I'm saying? Like that era was just that era
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
amazing. You seeing thousands of different people's faces on lives that you don't know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, because
meeting,
that's how we connected.
yeah,
Casey did a live,
yeah,
and we.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like people from, and then sometimes you find that some of these people live in your state,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you never knew because you never heard of them because you don't really get out like that.
Yeah. You got me thinking because every time I don't know what it is, but I've been talking to a lot of slam poets lately,
Yeah,
and y'all got me wanting to take that a dabble in slam poetry.
yeah.
How did you get started with that?
Well, see, I never slammed, but I was around. I know so many. When I started watching people on IG Live, they would do slams,
Yeah.
and one of the best guys I know, Black Chakra from Be More, phenomenal poet. I YouTube his poem called Pass, talking about the NFL. Amazing poem. Talking, it's a poem that portrays how he doesn't want his son to play in the NFL, and he's giving these immaculate reasons why he don't want his son to play for the NFL. Like when you get a chance, go to YouTube,
Oh,
type in Black
yeah.
Chakra Pass, and you will see like the passion in this man when he does his poetry. Amazing, phenomenal. Like that's my brother. I talk to him every now and then. He'll call me, he'll hit me up. You know what I'm saying? And then another dope person that I met during the pandemic, Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee, like broski. Shout out
Yeah.
Stock. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even know I was gonna connect with a guy that would win America's Got Talent like that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So even with that was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So like to meet all these people and I'm just sitting at home and going to work every day,
Yeah.
it was a blessing. But yeah, with slam, I learned a lot about slam. Slam, some people tell me is the proving ground. It's the
Hmm.
proving ground, and it's basically iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? It's basically you're gonna elevate through going to workshops and never take losing as a defeat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because each year you can elevate and find out what you did wrong. You know, these guys tell me this all the time. It's not. It's up. You know what I'm saying? It's about winning, of course. You say you want to be the
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
But it's the proving ground. You know what I'm saying? It's like battle rap, bragging rights. Who the best?
Yeah.
If you the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
prove it to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't say you the best poet, and you know what I'm saying? Don't say you the best slam poet, and you ain't been to any of these venues. You know, and and that's another thing is that's the gift and the curse about slam poetry and open mics. Open mics,
Yeah.
anybody will tell you, oh, you're good, but compared to the people that do it in front of
Yeah.
and judges and all that,
Yeah, who practice their cadence and
And
practice the pauses and the breaths and the
and
delivery.
the good thing, and one thing I've learned about being around slam poets is stop performing for poets.
That
Perform for
makes
people that
sense.
don't like poetry. That's where you're gonna get your money. You know what I'm saying? You got to venture outside of the norm.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, stop performing for poets. I mean,
man.
I know it's
Yeah,
crazy to say,
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because
but
we're there. We're used to it, and so if we're performing for each other, we're engaged. But how do you get somebody who's not into poetry or somebody who's not has not been exposed to poetry to pay attention? Like, how do you do that? Like that
you
person who may
gotta
stumble upon.
invite them out. And this my thing is that once these people see the passion in the room and all, they're like, oh, okay. Because half the time you gotta think about it. They pull out random ass judges. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know
Yeah,
if these judges like
like
poetry,
poetry
hate
or
poetry. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
yeah,
convince them. You
you
know what
yeah
I'm
you. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna look into this. I'm a at least try. You know.
saying? And it all starts with starting from, start from your local poetry areas, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, when you feel like you comfortable, then, try to get into Southern Fried and all these other poetry events in Texas, Florida, Baltimore,
Yeah, yeah. How did you get started with poetry? Like, what was the beginning for you?
third grade.
Third grade.
Third grade, my teachers would say I was writing poems at a middle school to high school level, you know. And at that time, third grade, I'm not really thinking. And I feel like the older you get, the more seasoned it gets. There's more levels to it. So like me going on 35, around what 2020, probably maybe 29, 30, I'm more seasoned in the game and I'm around other poets and I'm seeing, what they write about and the passion, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing I'm always gonna give my all because it's my work, so I'm not gonna
Right. Yeah.
BS all of that. Like, I may stumble a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but me personally, me going back and looking at older poems, I feel like I suck. I'm giving honest opinion about this.
We all do, man.
You know, I'm, I go back and look at stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm throwing that away. Never going back to that. And then I look at now, and I'm like, I done wrote a lot of good shit.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? And then you got your people, your slam posts on there like, yo, dude, you are phenomenal. If you really took time to really perfect it, you would be. But you know what I'm saying? I grew up. You know what I'm saying? Got married, got a boy that, thank God he not crying. You know what I'm saying? It's it kind of changed me. It's like, but
Yeah,
but I still dabble and watch poetry all the time. Um, I'm still waiting to get that spark back that I had during COVID. You know,
yeah,
it's harder now because I don't think about it as much. I think about raising this one. But when I perform my poetry, I still got the hunger and all of that. But maybe one day, man.
yeah. Maybe one day, man.
Maybe
Maybe,
because
maybe.
I still got time, and I'm still around the poetry scene. I'm still around poets. Poets call me for advice, and and that's the crazy thing. It's like I am an everyday person, no slam acolytes, none of that, and people just come to me for advice, and I'm like, I'm only giving you the advice that I've heard from other slam poets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, don't always think your shit is hot because it's probably not.
It's probably not.
Of course,
Nah.
it's gonna be nice to your mother. Your mother loves you. She's
Yeah.
not gonna disappoint you unless she's a writer and she's like, "No, son, that's not it. You got to go back." I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the whole that. Like I said, like 2020, 21, like those quarantine years. I ain't gonna lie, quarantine was good. Block parties on IG.
Yeah.
75 people in the live waiting to perform. Like that's that. Like when you think about it, the
Yeah.
logic is crazy.
Crazy.
Like
Crazy.
we're sitting here waiting to be pulled on to a live, but it was. I mean, what was we doing?
Yeah,
It
that
was
sense of
fun.
community
Yeah,
is kind
it
of
was a good
gone.
community.
Yeah, it's kind of gone now
No, it's
because
gone. Oh,
everybody's
everybody's
out and you have to be tapped in locally
yeah,
to kind of get that. Yeah.
yeah. Like those were the wonder years.
Yeah.
You
So do
know,
you write still?
couple lines come through my head, man.
Couple lines come through your head.
When I get a chance, I'll type it in my phone. I'll get back to it. But I think what helps me is still constantly listening to music. Listening to music, going
Yeah.
on YouTube, watching people slam poets from years ago. It crosses my mind at times.
Of course, yeah.
Because when you're a poet, you're always a poet. You don't
Yeah.
never stop. You can hear a line and be like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Or my friends would be like, here you go, being all poetic and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, it still dawns on me. I'm still trying to find like two of my like latest pieces that I wrote that I still can't find. I need to find them. I know they're on. I performed them on IG. They're on IG, but I don't remember where I typed them up in my phone because
Yeah.
how you get a new phone and a lot of stuff that you wrote
Stuff that's
didn't
supposed to,
save.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
I have that problem too. Sometimes I'll say stuff on the phone and not actually the cloud, and then
yeah,
it's like, where is
because
it? It's like,
because I had a poem that I wrote during actually Black History Month last 2 years ago. Yeah, during the COVID time, and it was a piece that it was called All Aboard. It was called All Aboard, and basically it was me telling the story in between when what Harriet Tubman and the slaves were doing in between escaping the South, because we
yeah,
don't think about
find
right.
that, yeah,
We don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it used to be a poem I used to perform all the time, so it used to be memorized. But I ain't performed it so long that the memorization ain't as good as it was before.
right,
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? We don't. And it was a random thought in my head. I was like, nobody thinks about what the slaves were doing in between running away from the South. So I integrated. I give you this imagery of beautiful forest, them playing in them playing in a waterfall, having fun, playing capture the flag. But then I hit you with the realization of they still slaves and they're being chased.
mm.
But then I come back to where you made it. You made it to the north and you're finally free. So
Yeah, yeah,
so um yeah, and that's one of the ones. It's called All Aboard, and I need to find that because that's one of my favorite pieces that I ever wrote because I put so much imagery and I learned so many different techniques from slam poets, regular open mic poets. You know, I feel like the newer version of me is more of trying to tell a story. Before
yeah,
me coming in was more punchlines, bars, and all of that. But then I was like, I don't even have to do all of that no more. I can give you the imagery, couple bars, and then story. What I'm saying, put you on this journey. Put you on this journey because I want you to really feel the smell, the aroma of what's going on in the air. You're really you can smell it off of me what I'm saying to you. you're really there. You feel like that slave in that moment of Harriet Tubman taking you through this journey to be free.
Right. Yeah.
You know? And then there was another poem I wrote. It was a baseball poem. It was a poem. I challenged myself to write a poem and integrate baseball with it. It was a poem about a boy and a father. I integrated those, put those together, and I integrated running bases as getting away from the struggles of leaving the ghetto and the hood, where strike one, is your first offense. Strike two, okay. Strike three, you're in the ground. And then I integrated running the bases as you're getting close to home. You're getting
Yeah.
close to
Yeah.
getting away from here. You know, and it was a beauty because a lot of men felt that. They felt the peace because it was like, well, I got a son and I want better for him. And I want him to not have to go through what I went through. And by me helping him through baseball, he became a pro. And I'm sitting in the stands watching him be a superstar.
You had to find that one too, man. Both of them, when you find those, please send those to me.
Yeah.
Man.
Man, I'm mad because, like, I'm mad because, like, I have good ones in my phone right now, but
Yeah.
those were the ones at the end of the era. Well, I won't even say the end of the era of Mr. Sleep for me because I'm still here, but during that moment when I was really like hitting the surface of really who I am as a writer,
Right. Right.
Um, and one thing I will say I commend you. I commend you as somebody that can write a book because I know
Oh,
what it
thank you.
takes in a book. And me, when I really sat there and looked at the process and all that, I said, me mentally, I can't do it like y'all. Like that is a process. Even at the moment when I sat there during COVID and I started typing up what I wanted it to be, I was just like, maybe one day, but right now it's like I'll keep these poems and finally do it. But like just looking at the process of what y'all do, the
Yeah.
editing, the revising, so the table of contents, all in it. Like people think writing a book is easy.
It's not. My first
There's
book I
so many
did.
levels.
I did everything, and this last book, I hired somebody to help me with the outline and table
Yeah,
contents and stuff. But even with that, it's still a lot.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank
yeah.
you.
No, no,
Maybe we supposed to help each other. Maybe you supposed to give me that push to do.
yeah,
Yeah, at
yeah.
least try slam poetry, and
Yeah,
you with your book.
yeah, because then that's another avenue of
Yeah,
your life that you can talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's I mean, of course, people. I think some people do it for the love. Some people do it for the money. Of course, the money is really, the money is a big thing because you get a big payout out of all of it. But
not that much.
but then at the same time, yeah. But then at the same time, it opens up doors for you.
That's
Like
true.
I know a lot of slam poets who have opened up doors. Um, some are Broadway writers. Some write television shows for people. Some are directors. Like it's so many avenues, and of course, some people probably went to school for that and all that. But it opened up doors. You never know
Yeah.
where you can go with poetry. Can take you places. A lot of people just don't know that.
Have you ever written short stories or considered writing short stories?
I've always considered that. I felt like that's what I was doing when I was younger. But yeah, I can see myself telling a story
Yeah.
about something, you know. But yeah, that is something. I feel like that's what the combo of like, and that's another thing that I struggle with was like, even with doing the book thing, I wanted to do poetry and short stories within it. I didn't want it just to be just poetry.
Yeah. I was
Like
gonna do
a
that
combo,
too. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
combo piece, not just and then at the same time, a lot of people were like, to be honest, why don't you just do an audio? But some people just want to hear your voice.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually when I get older, because I still got time, I still can, I'm 34, going on 35 this year. I got time. Just like you can do poetry till you die,
And
and
it'll
I
live
think
on after you.
right, and I think that's what my real goal was during COVID was I don't care to be well known. I don't care about none of that. I just want for when it's all said and done, people to study my work. I think that's
Yeah.
the end game.
Yeah.
For you to be in a tombstone, but you still live on. you know, like wouldn't that be amazing? After you pass, people are taking your books and studying them at Harvard or at what I'm saying, at Ivy League schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really breaking down Terrence work. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's what
Yeah.
the
That.
real end game is.
Yeah.
Live on forever. you know,
Yeah.
like,
That'd be dope. Yeah.
yeah, like I think that's what most poets' end game is in the end is to live on even after, or to win a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Be Grammy nominated. Like the possibilities are endless. But I think some people are too used to rap and wanting to hear something on a beat. And I think that's
Yeah.
what some people struggle with when it comes to poetry. And then you got some people that's what they want to hear. They don't want no beat. They want to hear the passion, the anger, the emotions on stage. You know, they want that right there, man.
And you definitely deliver that every time I've heard you speak something, man. It's just been full of passion and energy.
Because I don't. Because one thing I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna play with you. I'm not gonna waste your time. You know, and I think where I get most of the passion from is even watching my boy Black Chakra on stage. I I I want I want you to feel. I want you to feel. That's my biggest thing is to feel. I want you to feel. Okay, I want you to feel how I am in the moment. Like I want you to really sit there and be like, "Yo, he really said that." Like I want to know how you feel after this is all said and done.
Yeah.
Like what are you for to do after you hear this poem? You gonna revolt? You gonna go home write a poem?
Right.
Matter of fact, shout out to my homegirl Miss Trill. She DM'd me one day about a poem that I have right here right now. And she was like, "Explain to me what it means to be Mr. Sleep for me." Now, the funny thing is, when she said it to me, she wasn't expecting for me to go the level that I went with. She just thought, just explain, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like for people to know who Mr. Sleep for me is, they need to hear this. So I'm going to give it to you. And it's called Sleep for Me. And the reasons why I say that. And I say, I wish I could sleep, but the trauma of this world got me scared to even close my eyes. Government wants me to close my mouth so they release this virus. I don't think it's kinky and this isn't foreplay. Quarantining my thoughts on this sheet of paper, because if I say it out loud, they're going to check my temperature. And with this pen of mine, I know they're going to say I'm overheating. Nightmares on an endless roller coaster that has me buckled in to see these tribal colonies get colonized and my African heritage gets kidnapped, abused, and raped. See, this outline is outlined in the sands of time that keep diminishing. See, the world tells us we need iron in our blood, but hit us with this Iron Man, so now we leaking blood. So let me be Tony Stark and tell Jarvis I need that Iron Man suit to strap up and protect those that can't fend for themselves. Let me be that Avenger that sacrifices himself for the sake of humanity. Keep my ashes as gems to power this infinity gauntlet, please. snap us back to reality. Poor people on the street keep their eyes wide open because if they sleep, it might be the final resting piece. I look in the mirror and see a Liberian American male trying to make an honest living. They see a vigilante. But that's what the world perceives of me. The Wiz told me to ease on down that yellow brick road, but didn't tell me that the police would be making license check stops to keep me in check. I don't think I'm gonna make it to this Emerald City. Body slam my future on this concrete, so it's evident that they're gonna get rid of the evidence. Society has always been sick, but nobody's willing to take the medicine. These prescriptions falsified so you can fall victim to a daily overdose. But I doubt you will take the pill because the truth is hard to swallow. You'd rather swing the gun in your hand and take it to the head with the bottle. See, I can't sleep because these nightmares that run rampant in my mind tell me that my fairy tale ending's but a million miles away. This is why I'm always up grinding, thinking about a master plan. And if you're asleep, please sleep for me, because if I sleep, then there'll be an end of my piece, and this piece would have been ripped in peace. Waking up to a madman trying to end my life with a piece. Everybody at my funeral saying, rest in peace. So I stay woke, so you can be able to sleep for me.
I think that's a good place to stop right there. Man, before I let you get out of here, how can the people connect with you?
Mr. Sleep For Me, IG, Mr. _ Sleep For Me _ FAH _ me. They can DM me, they can contact me. I'm not hard to find, I'm just a everyday neighborhood friendly black man in the neighborhood, raising a young king, that's about it, man. I'm not done.
Of course not. Oh no.
I'm not done.
No, you're just getting started, man.
I'm enjoying the fruits of fatherhood,
Right.
And once I feel like I'm at a place where I can get back into training mode and sharpen that pen, I'll be back,
Yeah.
Never go.
Well, we definitely gonna stay tuned. And I appreciate you for taking the time out. Once again, Mr. Sleep For Me, thank you all for tuning in. And remember, keep pushing forward. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and this is the place where poetry meets conversation. Hit that follow button and turn on your notifications so you won't miss an episode. Check out my blog, thebrownsugarcafe.blog. Also connect with me on Instagram at thebrownsugarcafe. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, remember, keep pushing forward.